Hey birdies, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another video from the JoyTangle series, which is a 25-day Christmas themed Zentangle challenge that I hosted in December 2024, which means a few days back. And as requested by all of you, I am posting full-length detailed tutorials for all the 25 projects that I created during this challenge. And from the list of 25 prompts that I had created, we are on day 18 today, which means the prompt for today is Molygon. Yay! Molygon is actually one of my most favorite tangles to draw, so I'm super excited to walk you through all the steps of this particular project. And in fact, this was one of my most favorite projects from all the 25 drawings that I did during this challenge. So as you can see over here, I have basically started to create the Molygon sections using alternate red and green pens. And one of the things that I love about this tangle is that it's great for warm-ups, and it's great for getting back in your drawing groove, so to say. So for example, if you're a beginner artist and you want to improve your strokes and you want to improve your pressure control and the way you sort of move your hands and wrist around your paper, then Molygon is great to practice your C stroke because it is made up of these curvy lines. And also, if you haven't drawn in a long time, or let's say you went on a holiday and you've come back and you feel like you want to do a little bit of a warm-up exercise, then again, Molygon is great to sort of get you back into your drawing habit. So yeah, this is definitely one of my go-to tangles for warm-up exercises, and also a very, very wonderful tangle to use in beginner Zentangle tiles. So yeah, I was very, very happy to do this particular project. It was also on day 18 of the project, which meant that I was sort of a little tired doing all the projects for, the previous 17 days. And some of the projects during those 17 days were pretty intense because I had used a lot of color and a lot of details. And yeah, I think some of the projects went on like every day for about 2 hours, some of them were 3 hours long. But this particular project was very, very easy to do, and I think it took me around 45 minutes to do this entire project. So I was pretty happy to do a lighter project as compared to some of the heavy ones. Even the day 16 and 17 projects, which were Ipso and Pop Cloud, were not very difficult to do. So yeah, I think between days 16 to 21, there were a lot of tangles which were sort of easy to do, easy to follow along. Yeah, so I definitely like the mix of prompts that I had created in that list of 25 prompts. So anyway, so coming back to this particular tangle, as you can see, I'm basically using it in a very organic style. So I'm going all around my tile and just placing Molygon in various sections. And I want to try and keep some negative space over here because later on you'll see that I add a little bit of Diva Dance, which is another tangle. And as always, if you are interested to check out the step outs for the tangles that I'm using in this project, then you will find the links to those step outs in the description box below. So you can have a look over there. And once I was done placing these Molygon sections, then I went back in and started to add some details. So I wanted to keep it simple and I didn't want to overthink the project on this day, which is why for the red sections, I just went with simple orbs. And this is basically just adding perfs, which is a Zentangle technique to add these little orbs inside a particular tangle. So that's what I did for the red one. And you'll see in a bit that for the green one, I just basically went with simple lines, which was sort of creating these mini sections. The inspiration for the green one was from Marasu, which is another tangle that I have used in the project. And I think Marasu was the prompt for day 8, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, I'm going to link it in the description box. So the kind of lines that I did in Marasu were the inspiration for what I'm doing for the green Molygons over here. And again, these design decisions are intentional. If you have been following along the series, then you know that I'm trying to keep some of the motifs and some of the decorative elements similar across all my 25 drawings, because my goal was to create a cohesive series at the end of the 25 days. So for example, if somebody was a collector and they wanted to have prints of all the 25 drawings that I did, then it should look like a cohesive series. And one of the simplest ways to make all your art pieces come together in a unified way is to maintain the same color palette across all of them. That's one of the ways. And then the second technique is to add similar embellishments or similar strokes and similar drawing styles or a similar visual language, basically, which sort of brings it all together. So yeah, that's what I'm doing over here with the red and the green ones. And you can see that once I was done adding the lines and the puffs, then I also went in back with my gold pen and just sort of enhance them a little bit more, because gold is always a good idea. I think you've probably heard me say this so many times on this channel. Gold is good. It's definitely good. Now, honestly, with all the negative space that was left, I could have done so many different patterns over here. But again, in the spirit of keeping all the pieces cohesive, I decided to go for Diva Dance, which is another interesting tangle, and I have used it on my day 4 project as well. So again, I'm just trying to make everything come together in a unified manner, and I want harmony across all my pieces, which is why I decided to go for Diva Dance over here. But let's say if you're creating this project as an independent separate piece and not as a series like me, then you can definitely choose to add another tangle as well over here. So in my case, like I mentioned, I'm going with Diva Dance, and I'm using my dark green pen over here because I realized that this style needed a little bit of contrast, and also because I basically didn't use the dark green anywhere on this style. So I had to use it for the sake of continuity and for the sake of cohesiveness across all my tiles again. And so I decided to use the dark green for the Diva Dance. With that done, I took my white jelly roll pen and added in some little dots to all those bumps and dips in the Diva Dance lines. And this is again very, very similar to the way I have embellished Diva Dance in all my other projects as well. So again, maintaining the same visual language. And once that was done, then I used the white jelly roll pen to add in some lines inside the green Molygons as well, just so that there's a little bit more detail to the tile and it looks slightly more intricate than the way it is right now. Once I was done adding those white lines, I realized that the edges of the composition might look very dull and boring once I remove the washi tape. So I wanted to add in a pop of gold around the outer edges. And the easiest way to do that was to use one of the auras of the existing Diva Dance sections and just color them in with gold. And as mentioned earlier, gold is always a good idea. So it definitely helped in, removing that monotony, so to say, and the boredom out of those Diva Dance sections. And it just basically brightened up the piece a little bit. Okay, and after that was done, it was time to remove the washi tape. And this is the final result of this particular project. So this was a very easy project to make, like I mentioned earlier. It was not very intricate and not very detailed like some of the other projects that were done in the previous 17 days. So yeah, this was very easy to do. And if you are interested to check out all the 25 projects in the series to understand what exactly I'm talking about, then you'll be happy to know that I've created a playlist for this particular series, and it is now available on my channel. So make sure that you check out the JoyTangle playlist with all the 25 projects. And I am going to get right back to editing the next video in this series. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you very, very soon.